How you doing, guys? Jamie here of Urban Combatives Thailand and Core Combat Chiang Mai. Quick video. I'd like to talk briefly about the subject of having a dog for your own personal protection. So what I'm looking at specifically is just a normal pet dog and whether that dog is likely to stand up for you if you're attacked while taking it out for a walk, for example, or would it attack a target that's trying to get into your home. Now, one thing that we do with our study group here is we look at real-world footage often, and that can be from security cameras, from people's phones, or whatever. Now, almost every single time we've seen some kind of altercation when there's a dog involved, the dog never ever jumps in. It never defends its owner. What's most likely to see is the dog will kind of panic and not know what to do, jumping on the spot, barking, kind of running around in circles, jumping up on the spot, but not doing anything of any benefit to its owner. You have to ask yourself the question, why? Well, I have a belief on this. So the first thing I'd like to say is that I'm not an expert in dogs per se. You know, I'm not trained in dog psychology or anything. However, I've grown up with dogs. I've trained plenty of dogs, large dog breeds, very large dog breeds, Great Danes, etc., all the way to the more dangerous dog breeds, the smaller ones, as well as having the privilege of being around working dogs as a youngster, working on farms. So I've got some experience. I've also been in the position where I've been attacked by dogs, more than once, I'm sorry to say. So what I would like to do is share some thoughts with you. Now, the first thing is, I'm in the strong belief that if you have a pet dog, you should not rely on that dog for your safety. Absolutely not, unless the dog has been trained specifically for that purpose. Now, why? Simple reason being is that normally, our pet dogs are taught to do the very opposite of protecting us. If you think about it, what do you teach your dog to do? Or should I say, what do you teach your dog not to do? Those things would include growling, biting, being aggressive, jumping up at people they don't know, or for that matter, jumping up at people that they do know. What you see very, very commonly, a dog will bark, let's say walking past their home, they'll jump up and start barking, which is its innate nature to do that, is to mark and protect its territory. And what do? We tell it to be quiet. We tell it to shut up. Now think about it. What we're training the dog to do is don't protect your home. Right? It doesn't understand the difference. Most likely it doesn't understand the difference. And equally, if we're teaching it to be obedient to people and submissive to people, then it's unrealistic to expect that suddenly when the dog is thrust into an unfamiliar position, i.e. your home is being invaded or you're being attacked, it's quite reasonable to assume that the dog is going to stick by the training that you've given it, in that it won't bite, it won't growl, it won't attempt to harm the target that's trying to hurt you or invade your home. Makes absolute logical sense. The only dogs that may jump in and protect you are the ones that have been trained to do so, because they're familiar, they have, clear commands, they're experienced. So, yeah, likelihood is they may jump in. However, the average pet, it doesn't matter what dog breed it is and what that breed is capable of. If it hasn't been trained accordingly, it's probably not going to respond. There's been studies on this. If you go onto YouTube and see for yourself, there's a few news outlets that have tested the theory where they've taken willing participants and then they've had someone pretend to force their way into the home quite convincingly, and the owner of the dog panicking, screaming, shouting, running away, or taking the fight to the actor in this case. And what always happens is the dog panics and doesn't know what to do. So what's good about having a dog? Apart from the obvious, that it's a companion, it's a friend, etc. I'm not touching on that subject. What I'm focusing on is when things go wrong, what will that dog do for you? Well, I would say the most likely scenario is they're not going to do anything. What they are good for are noise and prevention. So the beauty of having larger dogs is that people may just think twice about bothering you simply because you have a large threatening looking dog with you. They may not want to take that chance because, of course, some dogs, even if they haven't been trained to do so, they may just stand up for you. They may just attack your assailant. I'm saying that most won't, unfortunately. They're also very good for bringing attention to you. So the whole barking thing, you really shouldn't be teaching your dog not to bark. What you should be doing is teaching your dog when to bark, which is absolutely doable. It's something that you should do at a young age, arguably. But it's something you need to be thinking about. It's teaching them to bark at people they don't know, people coming to your home that they're not familiar with. I think it's absolutely appropriate for a dog to bark then. And as I say, they can bring attention to you, with all the noise. But also, obviously, they're bringing your attention to something that's wrong. If you know your dog, you will hear if something's wrong by the manner that they're barking or their basic mannerisms, their behaviors. So for that respect, they're very, very good. But as I say, don't rely on them for your personal safety, because the likelihood is they're not going to do anything. Okay, those are just my opinions on the subject matter. I plan to release a video on how to deal with dog attacks, whether it be one dog or a pack of dogs. That's something to look out for coming soon. Thanks, guys.